You are listening to 389 Country Internet Radio. The views and opinions expressed on the Morning Buzz are not necessarily those of 389 Country advertisers, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, or Google Podcasts.
But they should be.
This is the Morning Buzz.
Good morning, Buzzers. Your buddy Trav on the radio. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Morning Buzz on a Wednesday. Happy hump day to you. You have made it halfway through the week. I am so proud of you. I couldn't be more proud if you made an A and we stuck it on the refrigerator. Not the refrigerator, the refrigerator. My granny called it the Frigidaire. It didn't matter what the brand was. It wasn't Frigidaire. It was the Frigidaire. So, good old granny. Oh, the granny stories I have. Not this morning, though. Coming up on today's show, you can expect chaotic news from around the world, political chaos, and all of our normal fun. And sports. I was live in the Hive last night as 3 of the 4 Hayesville High School basketball teams were in action. I'll tell you all about that coming up in sports at the bottom of the hour. But before we do anything, you know how this works. We have to officially start your day, and to do so, we rely on our old buddy Doug. Doug, are you ready on this cold morning, buddy? Wait for it. Now, today is Wednesday. It is December the 13th, 2023, the year of our Lord. It is Ice Cream Day. Will you celebrate? I'm going to say yes. Yes, I will. It's also National Cocoa Day. I mean, bowl of ice cream, a cup of hot cocoa. And no, hot chocolate is not cocoa. Educate yourself. I can't do it all for you. It's also National Cream Cheese Frosting Day. Oh, my goodness. So I guess, in short, it's National Diabetes Day. What was his name? Wilford Brimley, and I have diabetes. It's National Day of the Horse. Don't know what you do with that. It's also National Violin Day. It's impossible for me to celebrate that. Anytime I pick one up, it turns into a fiddle. And on this day in history, back in, 1920, the League of Nations establishes the International Court of Justice in The Hague. What else have we got on the old... 1636, Massachusetts Bay Colony organizes 3 militia regiments to defend the colony against the Pequot Indians, recognized today as the founding of the United States National Guard. How about that? And in 2002, the European Union announces that Cyprus, the Czech Republic, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Poland, Slovakia, and Slovenia will become members from May 1st, 2004, the EU. Well, fun while it lasted, wasn't it? And on this day back in 2003, we heard, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Former Iraqi President Saddam Hussein is captured near his home in Tikrit during Operation Red Dawn by U.S. forces. And let's see, today in film and TV, 1989, Driving Miss Daisy debuted with Morgan Freeman. That wasn't bad for early in the morning, I'll just go ahead and tell you. And in 1961, the Beatles signed a formal agreement to be managed by Brian Epstein. And that's a look at this day in history, which brings us to this day in weather. Brought to you, as always, by the fine folks at North Georgia Sign and Apparel. It may not feel like it right now, but it's going to be warm today. Right now it's 23 in Hayesville, lower 20s all across the tri-state, maybe a high teen in there somewhere. There's always a high teen somewhere. Yeah, thank you for that. Pleasant today with intervals of clouds and sunshine, 60 for the high, no rain expected, 31 for your low tonight. I don't feel like a heat wave in the morning. For your Thursday, carbon copy of today. Plenty of sunshine with a high of 60 degrees, 29 for the low tomorrow night. Taking a peek at Friday, plenty of sunshine, high of 59 degrees. And that's been a look at weather brought to you by North Georgia Sign and Apparel. And with that, we have officially started the show. Today's show brought to you by the fine folks, Earl and everybody over Interstate Welding. Got to talk to Earl last night at the old ball game, so we talked a little racing. And if you know, you know, that was that's been a pretty hot topic in my life for the last few days. But anyway, I'll be back right after this. Welcome back, buzzers. See, that didn't take long, and it's time to get into some music, and it's cold, it's December. Let's kick things off with a little Christmas music, shall we? Here's Alan Jackson, Merry Christmas to Me. Oh, don't that put you in a holly jolly spirit? Alan Jackson, Merry Christmas to Me. Time now for the 411 for the 389. I had to do some adjusting on my headphones there. The Israeli military has reportedly begun pumping seawater from the Mediterranean into a complex tunnel network underneath Gaza. The operation, likely to take weeks, is part of Israel's efforts to destroy the roughly 300-mile-long infrastructure used by Hamas to transport supplies and personnel. Some of the 140 remaining hostages from Hamas's October 7th attack are believed to be held inside the tunnels. Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm not a war expert, so I'm just going to read it to you and not weigh in. In other news, Sports Illustrated parent company, the Arena Group, announced it has ousted CEO Ross Livingston, the latest in a string of firings allegedly related to the company's reported use of artificial intelligence to produce content on its website. And going back across the pond, British lawmakers have passed a revised bill to deport some asylum seekers to Rwanda. The passage of the bill comes a month after the nation's high court struck down a previous draft of the policy, stating Rwanda was not a safe country and could expose the UK to liability under international law. Here's a look at your 411. Don't forget, if you get the old 389 Country app, every morning at 6 a.m., your morning headlines greet you for free. So you wake up and you're in the know. And it's more than just these stories. And you can always find news that's new to you and relatable to you at 389country.com. Now back to the music. I hope my boy's listening. He loves this song. So and I do too. And who among us doesn't? Here's Shenandoah with Luke Combs' 2 Dozen Roses. Little Lainey Wilson by request this morning. Things a man ought to know. Well, something you ought to know. As, it's Wednesday, and you're probably at this point up and at 'em, getting ready to head out to the office, to the job site, to the store. Heck, maybe you're headed to a school somewhere. At some point today, dear friends, you're going to find yourself in the presence of those who make it abundantly clear to you that they need to be educated in the things of this world. And when that moment happens, dear friends, I want you to look them dead in the eye and say, "Losers, bet I'm smarter than you, and I can prove it." And then hit them with this little number. Did you know red is the first color a baby sees? It's true. It's true. Out of all the colors, red has the longest wavelength. Therefore, red is easier to process for a developing baby's eyes. So, grab your nearest baby book to confirm. If you got a baby book, notice how much red is on it or in it. Look, I'm here to educate. And then after you have left them wowed, nay, slack-jawed with your superior knowledge, I want you to hit them with your 1-2 punch. Look at them again and say, "Not only am I smarter than you losers, I, dear friends, am funnier too." And then drop this one on them. A son says, Dad, there's a monster under my bed." To which the dad replies, "Enjoy it while you can, son. When you get married, the monster sleeps in the bed with you." Welcome back, buzzers. It's time for sports, brought to you by Clay County Recreation Center. And we begin with a little basketball news from last night. You can find these full stories at 389country.com. For the Yellow Jackets, well, they send Highlands home with a loss. It was Hazel got off to a great start, 2 3-pointers, and they never looked back as they hold on to win 61-42. Hazel's record improves to 5-1, while Highlands falls to 2-7. Leading the charge for the Yellow Jackets was senior Isaac Chandler. He had 18 points. He is this week's Advanced Spinal Correction Athlete of the Week. Congratulations to Isaac. Man, he got rebounds. He was stealing the ball. He was all over the court. So, well-deserved. And on the ladies' side of things, the Lady Yellow Jackets, they get to win too, but they needed 5 quarters to do so. Mallory Peck, with 4.8 seconds left in overtime, put Hazel up 39-38 with a couple of free throws, and then Ava Shook got the steal on the inbound to seal the win for the Lady Jackets. Peck led the Lady Jackets with 12 points, and she is this week's Rusty Wallace Chevrolet Player of the Week. Now let's go to college basketball. Young Harris College men will be in action today, this afternoon. It's a matinee, 1 o'clock. The Mountain Lions will be in action, and I know Hayesville Middle School PE classes are headed over to enjoy the game and to watch the very well-known to the kiddos Kobe Ash, former Yellow Jacket, as he and the Mountain Lions try to pick up yet another win over in the Harp Center. If you've got nothing to do this afternoon, going out, watch them, or you can watch it online as well on the Young Harris College website. So that is a look at sports, brought to you as always by the fine folks at the Clay County Recreation Center. Going down to see Jerry and the gang today.
Looking for a way to become more active? Check out the Clay County Recreation Center. From walking and biking trails to a workout room to a state-of-the-art pickleball court, the rec center has something for all levels of physical activity. They even have an airfield for RC pilots. And don't forget about all the sports leagues for the kids. Visit the center at 333 Ballpark Drive in Hayesville or call 828-389-0368.
Time now for Bozo News of the Day. Today, well, I don't remember if we've done this one or not. So, we're headed to Wyoming, Gillette, Wyoming, where it seems, Bozo Rule number 874,434 was violated. The rule clearly states, don't ask unnecessary questions. Have you ever been guilty of that? You know, if you're going to court, they tell you, only answer the question. Don't volunteer more information. Well, on the flip side, don't ask unnecessary questions. Why? Well, just pay attention and I'll tell you. Apparently our bozo was a bit confused, so he called the cops to try to clear things up. He asked the sheriff's office why he hadn't been arrested since they raided his house the previous day. Well, hold on while we check. Sheriff's office records showed no raid on his home yesterday or any other day. So the obvious question, why should you have been arrested? Our bozo's answer, for using meth. Well, alright then. The cops decided to keep an eye on him, and when he went out for a drive, they pulled him over for driving erratically. Busted. He failed a field sobriety test. I am shocked. I am just shocked. And he was placed under arrest for DUI. Y'all, we may have covered that one before, but somebody that stupid deserves to be talked about twice. What an idiot.
Blake Shelton with Old Red there. Well, a new study's out. Well, an online survey. It's not really a study, but it's a survey of what are the phrases that irritate you the most. Do you have some? I'm not talking about like mispronounced or something. Like, listen, I love everybody, but when you say, I could care less, when you say I could care less, that means, well, I care, but I could care a little less. If you say I couldn't care less, that means I don't care at all. But that's not what we're talking about. But I just had to get that off my chest. Here's an example of a phrase that people find annoying. No offense. No offense. And it's always something offensive that follows that, right? No offense, but he's big as a barn door. How do you not mean that offensively? I'm just stating fact. Here's some others on the list. Life isn't fair. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, that one. Ugh. Money can't buy happiness. Yeah, but it could buy you a place away from people. And I would be happy. At the end of the day, that's one. Look, at the end of the day, rah, 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 rah. And then one I hate, I'll circle back on that. You remember Jen Psaki? You don't pronounce the P. What a dumb redneck. When she was White House press secretary, it was circle back. I'll have to circle back. I'll have to circle back. Now Karine Jean-Pierre, she just says, I'm not going to speak on that. Which means if it's not in her big book of everything, we're not getting it. I know it's not our too, but what are some phrases that irks you that just you can't stand? Do I have something? Do I say something? If I do, go ahead and let me know. 389country@gmail.com. or I am in the chat. Go to 389country.com, click on the little chat bubble. That'll put you right here in the studio, right to my right side. The monitor to my right side has chat up waiting on you. And that is where I received a request for this little number. They said you were talking about it being December and cold and frosty. How about a little Cal Smith? Hello, country bumpkin. Thanks for listening to the Morning Buzz. I might have been singing along to that. Maybe, just maybe I was singing along to that and kind of lost track. The red light was flashing at me. Hey, it's running out. And I'm just sitting here just singing away. Oh, well, how about we take a look at this day in country music. Back in 1951, after ongoing back problems, Hank Williams underwent a spine fusion operation at Vanderbilt University Hospital in Nashville. In 1972, Charlie Pride was at number 1 on the U.S. country charts with Kiss an Angel Good Morning. Started to play that, but I remembered we celebrated Charlie yesterday. And also on this day, back in, where did it go? 1981, singer Johnny Paycheck was arrested and only minutes after giving a free concert for 1,200 inmates at the Missouri State Penitentiary. So, talk about timing. And in 2010, on this day, the band Perry was at number 1 on the country chart with their first number 1 hit, If I Die Young. And I thought, well, we'll do that one. But no, something else is on here. Born on this day in 1989 in Reading, Pennsylvania. All of you, if you know, you already know, you're probably calling in sick to work today to celebrate. Who was born on this day in 1989? That's right, Swifties. Taylor Allison Swift. Happy birthday, Blondie. Well, look at that. Hour 1 has come and gone already, but don't you sweat it. We still got 2 hours to go. Coming up in hour number 2, political chaos from around the world. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Text a friend. Tell them to tune in. Thanks for listening. Welcome back, Buzzers. Your buddy Trav on the radio. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Morning Buzz on a Wednesday. Happy hump day to you. Coming up in this hour, we'll take a look at political chaos from around the world, including bad news for Santa's elves. Got that story coming up in a couple of minutes, but as we do every day in hour 2, we kick this hour off by connecting with Jesus, because you know we need Jesus before we talk politics. Today's 389 Country Christmas gospel song comes to us from Carrie Underwood. You know, sometimes the commercials, you just had this powerful song from Carrie Underwood, and then Johnny and Heidi. I love it. Well, something I don't love, somebody losing their job, and it's the poor elves right here at Christmas time. Yep, Santa's helpers are on the corporate chopping block as toy sales continue to slide. The famed toy makers at Hasbro announced Monday that they are having to lay off 1,100 employees this holiday season as toy sales stay down in the dumps despite what should be a Christmas sales boost. Right, you would think. This comes after the company has already laid off 800 employees, bringing the total near 2,000 now. They said, we anticipated the first 3 quarters to be challenging, particularly in toys, where the market is coming off historic pandemic-driven highs. Hasbro CEO, I don't know where his name went, but anyway, that's what the CEO said. I don't want to read the whole thing. However, the fourth quarter did not make up for the first 3 disappointing quarters, which led to the layoffs. It's the best economy ever, Jack. Now, the White House better put out some more stats about job creation. You know, all the second and third side hustle jobs we've all got. Here's more from the memo. While we have made some important progress across our organization, the headwinds we saw through the first 9 months of the year have continued into the holiday and are likely to persist into 2024. Now, not all of it is just that people aren't buying toys. Well, I mean, obviously they're not buying toys, but so many things are digital now. All the video games and apps and stuff. So the old hand-in-hand toy, it may be a thing of the past. That's sad, isn't it? And inflation, people really can't afford toys. Let's see, we're going to eat or are we going to play with the lawnmower that blows bubbles. I believe we're going to eat tonight. Well, bye-bye, lawnmower that blows bubbles. And hello, Johnny Cash. Time for our Wednesday song with a Wednesday car. Don't you want to stay here a little while? Jason Aldean with Kelly Clarkson. Well, you know, nothing is more masculine than the UFC, right? Just two dudes locked in a cage, wailing on each other, or two ladies. I mean, that's pretty masculine. But Dana White, president of the UFC, like he has the reputation of being a man's man, you know, and very outspoken Trump supporter, obviously. He's against all this wokeness, and so this may leave you scratching your head, all right? In an interview with Tucker Carlson, Dana White says, if you consider yourself a patriot, you should be drinking gallons of Bud Light. Gallons of Bud Light. You should have Bud Light drums stacked in your garage. They are more aligned with you than these other beer companies. Now, you know, obviously he's referring to the Dylan Mulvaney boycott and, you know, the sales dipping. Well, not dipping, they tanked. And so it's odd that Dana is telling you to support Bud Light because he's not into this wokeness and this trans movement. So what has happened here? I mean, did I miss something? Oh, yeah. $100 million sponsorship deal. Yeah. If I signed a $100 million deal with Bud Light, I guess I'd tell people to drink Bud Light too. Yeah, money talks. Look, this just goes to show that, what's the old saying? Everybody has a price. So, I don't know. You don't know what to believe anymore. Everybody's bought off, right? Well, in honor of this last story, here's Darius Rucker. Same beer, different problem. Dina Carter, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Well, Nikki Haley was asked whether Chris Christie, that is, should drop out of the race. And she said, Chris is my friend, and I will never tell anyone to get out of the race. She said, it's a personal decision to get out. That's Chris's decision to make. Now, what do you think she would have answered if she was asked, Nikki, do you think Trump should drop out? Absolutely. Absolutely. He should drop out. Why should he drop out? Well, he should drop out because all of these indictments, he can't focus on the country. He can't even focus on his campaign. He can't be bothered to come to the debates. Why? It's like he's not even running. And also, he should drop out because he's ahead of me by like 40 points. We know that Chris Christie's her friend. We saw him come to her defense in the last Republican debate, and they're both pretty much the same. So, of course, she says, Chris is my friend. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, buzzers. Welcome back. Uh-oh. Welcome back, Donnie T. Apparently, these polls have to be fake, right? I mean, at least for mainstream media. Now, are these polls fake? Well, that seems to be the question on everyone's mind as poll after poll after poll is showing Donald Trump as the favorite to win the 2024 election, including in key swing states that he lost in 2020. Now, the latest numbers come from CNN, of all places. New CNN polling shows Donald Trump leading Joe Biden 50 to 40% in Michigan and 49 to 44% in Georgia. Trump's margin over Biden is significantly boosted in both states by people who say they did not vote in 2020. See, that's the thing. Everybody says, Trump can't win enough people that voted against him. He can't convince them to vote for him. That's not the people who are making a difference. It's the people who never vote, who say, you know what, these last 3 years have been so bad, I'm going to vote. I've heard this story. I've read articles where people saying this too, that they've never voted or they haven't voted in a long time, and they say they are voting next year. Now, we'll see come Election Day if that holds true, but that's the difference maker right now is the non-voter that's decided to vote. Why in the world the last 3 years, why would somebody that had never voted, what has Joe Biden done to inspire them to, you know what, dang it, I'm going to register and I'm going to vote to keep old Joe in? It's just not there. There's no excitement with his campaign. I mean, you even got liberal comedians coming out and saying, I'm going to vote for Trump. You can hate me if you want to, but I got to vote for Trump for my family. So, sometimes something drastic needs to happen. Maybe Trumpy Bear is that something drastic. Voters say they prefer Trump over Biden by 5% in Michigan, which Trump won in 2016, but Biden carried in 2020. Our polls, this is from CNN here, our polls now show Trump 10 points up. Y'all, he's going from losing it to up by 10 points. CNN was also quick to point out that 10% in both states say they wouldn't support either candidate, meaning they might still be swayed one way or another, just not show up at all. And then you've got to factor in RFK too, but you're not going to get a Trump supporter to vote for RFK. Of people who are on the fence about voting, 26% in Georgia and 40% in Michigan would support Trump over Biden. This means Trump would possibly benefit from a high turnout of new and irregular voters, at least in these two states. So the so-called silent majority who supported Trump in 2016 may come back out for him in 2024. I think that happened. I think last time a lot of them thought, he's going to win. How is Basement Joe going to win this? Trump will win, and then and so this time they're going to be motivated. Now that's assuming that they let Trump get that far, and that's assuming that Joe makes it that far. We'll just have to sit back and watch. Go ahead and pop the popcorn. Well, this gender agenda. It's an agenda. So headline reads, Seattle student fails quiz after answering that men can't get pregnant. No joke at all. This kid actually failed a quiz at a public school in Seattle because he or she answered, one, that men can't get pregnant, and two, that all men have a man unit. I'll just leave it right there. What time is it? Yeah, the kids are in school. So this was 10th grade ethnic studies world history class, and the quiz was titled Understanding Gender versus Sex. Now, this is in a world history class, y'all. Why we gotta push this gender stuff in world history? Are we going to... They already do that. They already say, this, we really believe that, Napoleon was gender fluid, or, so you won't be surprised that many of the questions on this quiz had to do with personal pronouns and gender identity. Now, these questions our student answered correctly because educators have already hit the indoctrination button on those issues, right? But it was these other two questions that stumped the student, resulting in a failing grade on the quiz. Question number 4 was a true or false question with the statement, all men have man units. The student labeled the statement as true since, it is true. But the teacher penalized the answer, making it incorrect. The teacher claims that women can have man units too. And then question 7 was a true-false question with a statement, only women can get pregnant. Again, the student marked the statement true because only women can get pregnant. Again, the teacher penalized the student, insisting the answer is false. So, that same student could answer those questions in science class the same way, and they would be correct. But answer them in world history, again, why are we asking this in world history this way? And you're wrong, which I'm sure we're changing science. You remember a couple of years ago, follow the science, follow the science. Now, when we're talking about gender and we say, hey, follow the science. No, how dare you? You don't know what a person's feeling inside. What a time to be alive. Gabby Bear, pick me up. We're going back to the Christmas music now. And before you say anything, I don't think this is country music either, but a country music distributor sent this to me, and so we are going to play it. It's a Christmas tune. There's no words, but everybody loves it. And if you are a fan of the sitcom, the docu-comedy or whatever, The Office, you are about to have visions of Dwight dancing in your head. Here's a Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Christmas! Christmas! Dwight, Christmas! Man, now it feels like Christmas, doesn't it? And now to more nonsense. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the man Ireland has chosen to police their social media. Now, look, let me preface this. I know that, somebody could have a unique look and have the biggest heart, the kindest person. I've got that. I know that people look at me and say, boy, what a weird-looking dude. I understand that. And I feel like that gives me the right to make the following statement. This guy could not be nerdier looking if you drew him up with AI. He's got big old ears. I may put this on our social media page here later. He's got big ears. He's got glasses that are a little off kilter. They're not straight. Goofy grin, a big old nose, and, well, he's a little cross-eyed. How dare he judge the man? I'm not judging the man. I'm describing the man. Look, if the police came to me and said, can you describe this guy that's going to be in charge of monitoring Ireland's social media, I would say he's got big ears, a big old nose, goofy smile. He's wearing glasses that are off kilter, and he's a little cross-eyed. I mean, facts is facts, folks. His name is Jeremy Godfrey, and he will soon have immense powers to police social media. He's just not quite sure how he's going to do it yet. On February 17th, the watchdog will be given extended powers as a so-called digital services coordinator alongside other agencies across the bloc. Such national entities are empowered to act under the EU's social media rules, including policing domestic online activity and working across borders and with the European Commission on thorny questions linked to illegal content and potential digital foreign interference. No, this is to make sure that that you're thinking and you're saying what they want you to think and say. So essentially, Godfrey's going to hand out fines to those who, dare to make pro-Irish or pro-Christian posts on the internet. People who call for the genocide of Jews or stab little kids, however, you'll be fine. Look at this fun little detail concerning Ireland's new big brother. Ireland, how does it feel? This is from X. How does it feel knowing that the guy who now has the power to censor your speech on the internet used to work for the Chinese government? So, maybe China has more influence in the world than anybody. I'm starting to really feel like that. But yeah, if you were going to dream up a guy who's going to peruse social media 24/7 to make sure you're saying what he wants you to say, you probably nailed the way this guy looks. From dictators to kings, here's King George. Dolly Parton, why'd you come in here looking like that? I love the way she says that. Before that, George Strait, I could still make shy. And, well, that's going to do it for hour 2, but don't you fret. We still have a full hour to go, full of chaotic news from around the world, including the crazy news story of the day, a sign of the times, and, don't mess with God. Plus, the BK Concrete Connection Racing Report, all in hour 3. Thanks so much for listening. Text a friend, tell them to tune in. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Sometimes a Monday mood hits on a Wednesday. If you want to know what I'm talking about, check Marty out on our Facebook page. He couldn't be bothered to smile, but you can see him and Honey. If you want to know who Honey is, that's his teddy bear. So check Marty out. Good morning, Buzzers. Welcome to hour number 3 of the Morning Buzz. Coming up in this hour, we have chaotic news from around the world, and including a story here in just a couple of minutes about why you don't test God, and you don't tempt God, and you don't mock God, because you know why? God may show up, as Forrest Gump said, and about that time, God showed up. Right now, who's showing up? Well, it's 9:04, and we begin our 9 o'clock hour with our 90s at 9 spotlight. Today, Mr. Doug Stone. He needs a jukebox with a country song. I don't know that jukebox are still a thing, but Doug, I can give you a country song. Now look, I'm not here to say this was divine judgment. I just report on the news that's crazier than fiction, and, you decide from there. This story from Newsweek. A Turkish member of parliament collapsed on Tuesday. That would have been yesterday, if you're listening live, or on Wednesday. With an apparent heart attack after discussing godly punishments for the Israeli people. Felicity Party member Hassan Bitmez fell beside a podium while addressing the Grand Assembly of the Turkish National Assembly during a reported budgetary discussion. So during the budget discussion, he's got to tell them that God will punish Israel. He said, "You will not escape the wrath of Allah." That's what he said moments before. He's 54, by the way. Moments before he fainted and seemingly hit his head on the floor, immediately drawing a swarm of onlookers to intervene and provide medical attention. He reportedly has diabetes. Multiple reports indicated that the collapse was caused by a cardiac arrest of some kind. So that chairperson, Tamil, no way I get this last name, asked for prayers for his recovery. Well, maybe think about who you're praying to first. I'm just saying. 1 minute, you are up ranting and railing about God bringing judgment to Israel. The next minute, God whispers your name. Welcome back, buzzers, as we continue our tour of the world of chaos. California apartment tenant was flabbergasted after a mystery issue caused her toilet to flood her apartment. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ew. And it may still be ew, but it's. See, it flooded her apartment with foam, turning it into a giant bubble bath. Yep, not what you were thinking, is it? Yeah, I'm just looking at the pictures here. Video of the Sudsy tsunami has amassed over 5.8 million views on TikTok. The toilet belched in my bathroom filled with foam, wrote victim Ayoka in the caption of the clip. Accompanying photos show the woman's bathroom covered with a layer of bubbles, evoking a snow-covered lawn after a blizzard. It does look like, you know how like if it snows one day and then it gets real cold that night and the snow doesn't melt and it gets real cold and it kind of puts that crust on it? That's what it looks like here in her bathroom and going down the hall. She says, "What do I do?" She tried to put a towel in front of the bathroom door to create a dam, but that didn't work. And she ended up calling the maintenance man, and he showed up with a shop vac, and she said he was fighting for his life against a mountain of foam that did not stop rising. Now, needless to say, the comment section, they too were flabbergasted, I guess you could say. One said, "Why does your toilet have rabies?" Another guy says, "Close the door and blame it on the next person." So, it's unclear what caused it to do this, and as of this story, she's still waiting on a plumber. But some people think that maybe the vent stack was blocked somewhere, which caused the gases to build until they eventually burbled up through the toilet like a giant bubble bidet, I guess. But why would it be foamy? It would just, if it was gases, it would just bubble up, She says she theorized it could have been caused by a neighbor's kid's science experiment gone awry, or that someone went ham with their laundry detergent, shutting down the system. Well, if that was true, everybody in the building would have that. But I don't know. It looks weird. And anybody, when you talk about something coming back up from the toilet, we all worry, right? I probably wouldn't, go swimming in this or have one of those, what is it they call the foam parties? I wouldn't have that, but of all things, you hear your toilet burp and go in and you've got suds. They're not in a bucket and you don't have clothes on the line. And no, we're not listening to that song. Time now for the crazy news story of the day. And y'all, this one, it may leave us asking more questions than the answers that it gives us. We head to Florida. Oh yeah, the return of Florida, man. 33-year-old Max Krejcik was arrested after he received a Waffle House tattoo from a parlor in St. Petersburg, Florida, and refused to pay for it. I know. Listen, I hear you. Stay with me here. Max strolled into Ink Gods on December 2nd and asked for a Waffle House tattoo, as one does. And when the service was performed, the shop charged him $250 for their services. Now, Krejcik said he didn't have his debit card on him, so he was unable to pay for the tattoo. The shop offered to let him pay in multiple different ways, all of which he was unwilling or unable to do. He couldn't even prove to them that he had $250 to his name. But, can you blame the dude? Who among us could pass up an opportunity at a Waffle House tattoo? Police showed up to make the arrest. They searched Max and found he only had his driver's license and $6 cash on him. They held him on bail for $150, but, my guess is he didn't have the money for that either. It was $6, and you're charging him $150. To to me, we talk about Subway and these other companies that if you get their logo tattooed on you, you get free sandwiches for a year. I think Waffle House should step in and feed this guy for a year. Now, he did deserve it, but maybe Waffle House could help. Now, the irony is, once he is out, Waffle House may be the only place he could get a job to pay for the tattoo. And I know you're wanting to know what it looks like, but I can't find a picture of it. And I cannot find out why he wanted Waffle House. But that is today's crazy news story of the day. Arrested for not paying for your Waffle House tattoo. Here's Hunter Hayes with Tattoo. I'm going to end up doing this for a living. Requested music now coming in from 389country.com. Charlie Daniels Band, The Devil Went Down to Georgia, then to Washington, D.C. The original country rap artist Charlie Daniels with The Devil Went Down to Georgia by request. Well, what a time to be alive yet again. Now, here's the headline. You ready? We are now at the point where the emotional support dogs need emotional support. What? Look, I'm sorry, but in a world where human beings are dealing with sky-high inflation, a looming recession, constant global wars, the election cycle that seems never ending and just gets crazier and crazier, it really hurts to read this sort of thing. Many New Yorkers turn to Fido to help them with their mental health issues, but veterinarians and trainers say city pups are increasingly dealing with their own issues, often as a result of soothing their needy owners. Can't you just see them talking to each other at the end of the day? How was your day, Ralph? Man, I can't take it anymore. This lady comes home, and all she does is complain and gripe, and she's got me on edge, man. It's so bad, I was looking for the catnip toy, man. I can't take it. Look, we love our dogs. No arguments there, right? They were made to be companions for us. They're great at that. I'm just not sure that they were made to be pampered socialites as well. This from the story. Dempsey previously had his French bulldog Sugar on Prozac to manage her stress, but now he opts for a more natural cure. Once a month, Sugar gets a monthly lavender bath and massage at the dog store, as does Dempsey's golden doodle, Roxy. It is incredibly calming and soothing, and they love it, said Dempsey of the treatments, which total $400 for both dogs. Not only does it relax them, they smell amazing when they come home. You starting to see here? You starting to smell that? No, it ain't wet dog. It's all a scam. It's all a scam. Hey, listen, your dog is stressed out. But the good news is I can help you. I've got a friend. They'll rub lavender all over this dog. For only $400, we can calm your dog down. That sounds lovely. Let's do it. I can go in and tell my dogs my problems. They look at me, maybe tilt their head, and, run to the pantry hoping to get a snack. So, take care of the dogs. Maybe don't have them pampered. Don't take old Jake to get lavender rubbed all over him every day, but you could at least feed Jake. Feed Jake got a message on the 389 Country Facebook page saying, hey, who sings this? That is the Pirates of the Mississippi. That's who they are. Okay, moving on. A woman's attempt to get tattoos are all over this show. Woman's attempt to get her lips tattooed backfired horribly after her kissers ballooned to monstrous proportions to the point where her husband wouldn't come near her. Look, there's a picture here. Yes, her lips are huge, but couple that with her painted on eyebrows that are way too arched and high and her crazy eyes. She looks like a cartoon woman that's just seen a rat. A video of her life raft evoking smackers has amassed more than 7 million views on TikTok. In the clip, Whitney Leavitt, she should have leaved it alone. She can be seen undergoing a lip blushing procedure in which they are inked with a desired color to permanently enhance them. Little did the TikToker know that she would soon kiss any hope of normal-looking lips goodbye, at least temporarily. Now, as you can imagine, it's the swelling, They're severely swollen. But it looks like she's put her lips in a vacuum cleaner. She told her husband, you can't kiss me for 48 hours. He said, I wouldn't want to. A commenter said, this cured me of ever wanting lip filler. Another one said, I could see her mouth in the window's reflection behind him. Now, fortunately, her supersized smoochers were not permanent, and follow-up posts clipped later in the week, she could be seen with normal proportioned lips. But, yeah, in this one, you remember the old clown Bozo? Those of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s, you remember Bozo? You remember he had the red clown paint around his mouth? It's pretty much that. That's what she's got for lips. I'm sure she's glad it. You know, she walked out of the tattoo shop. No, you promise this will go down, right? Oh, yeah, it'll go down. I'll tell you what, if it don't, we'll give you a free Waffle House tattoo. How's that? Well, that's going to do it for the old Travinator on a Wednesday. Thanks so much for spending a little time with me, whether it's live or the podcast version on Spreaker, Google Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. I appreciate any of the above. Don't forget to keep a check on 389country.com throughout the day for news you can use. I was actually just working on a story right now when Willie started singing. And keep us on. We are the perfect soundtrack to your day. Josh David coming up, and he's hidden his list from me again. Is it really that bad that I tell him? Anyway, I'll be back with you bright and early tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll count down the CDX top 10 country songs of the week. Uncle Joey will call in, and all of our normal chaos. Until then, remember, wrestling is real, politicians are fake. Hope you guys have a great Wednesday. Stay warm, enjoy the sunshine. I'll see you tomorrow.